What's up, guys? How are you? Sorry for being a little bit tardy. It is time for our college basketball live stream here on the BettingPros YouTube channel. He is Terrell Furman. I'm Matt Perrault with you for 30 minutes as we look at the college basketball slate. We used to do this on Thursdays. We've now moved it to Tuesday because the games are much better. We have multiple top 10 teams in action tonight. Not the best of spread games, Terrell, but some interesting matchups. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Phil, you had no proof that it was me for the reason we were late. I feel in the chat. Terrell's in the bathroom. That's why, and I think he's trying to allude. That's why we're late. No. Oh man,
wasn't even
why
our
was it
fault
me?
today.
Why
Wasn't
you
even our
pick
fault.
me?
Neither one of us fault today. Just one of those scheduling.
Why you pick me? Why was I the one that had to be late?
I don't know. You want to pick on somebody today, I guess, on all of that. We got a bunch of national televised games, but the one that you have played is the game of the night. So I want to start with that game here tonight because Mississippi State is on the road at Tennessee tonight. The Volunteers have been very good this year, very good against the spread this year at home. They're 7-3 ATS at home, 11-7 overall. However, they're coming off that loss to Vanderbilt. And we got a team in Mississippi State that has lost 2 of 3. Where are you going with an official play for this? You like this Vols team, do you not?
Yeah, and you know what? I don't fault them for the loss to Vanderbilt. I really don't. Diego Pavia was in the building, and I mean, that's a man. That is a man. That is a quarterback. That is a guy that has the aura of an upset. And so, you know what? His aura just oozed onto the basketball team. But now we got to remember, this is the top 3 defense in Tennessee, and I think that they're going to create a lot of havoc in this game. They've been doing it all season, creating turnovers, which builds them offense and gets them out in transition and really gets them going. They can dominate the rebounding battle, and I think it's going to be a really good, that's the matchup that I'm watching. Who's going to dominate on the boards, who can get offensive rebounds, give themselves extra possessions, because these are 2 really good defenses. But Mississippi State is shooting less than 70% from the free throw line. And if we add that on top of, this is Tennessee off a loss, and Rick Barnes, with his tenure at Tennessee since 2021, when playing back at home after a loss, he is 10-1 straight up and 7-4 ATS in the regular season. I'm back in regular season, Rick.
Yeah, KenPom has this as a 9-point win for Tennessee, who they're 10-0 at home this year straight up. So they haven't lost at home yet this season. And so the number was 7.5 this morning. The pros have moved this to 8.5. How high will you go? KenPom is probably going to be the closing number of 9, but would you lay 8.5?
Yeah, I feel good with 8.5. I think this is a double-digit win, and they're able to pull away and just feel comfortable about this win. Maybe it's not nothing where we look through the point of the game and they're up 20 in the game. I don't think that they're going to dog them out like that, but I do think this is a comfortable 10-point win and just what is a really, really good bounce-back spot at home and a letdown spot for Mississippi State, who's coming off a really big win in the Egg Bowl going up against Ole Miss, where they went to overtime.
Yeah, I have a personal college basketball theory play that this falls into that I like a lot. If a team goes on the road and loses a conference game and then they come back home for a home conference game in which they are favored but not heavily favored, I almost always look to back that team because of the bounce back spot. College kids always play better at home. You always have the coach who's furiously mad. You had the whole bus ride. You had the whole flight home. The coach has been chewing your ass out, talking about what you did wrong, what you got to fix. You go to practice the next day, you get killed, and you want to get after it. And then you're at home with all your home crowds and cheerleading and home cooking with the referees and everything else. This fits into a blowout win for Tennessee. To put some more, evidence to this, last home game for Tennessee against Georgia, they won by 18. Home against Arkansas, they won by 24. A couple of cupcakes in Norfolk State in Middle Tennessee, they won by 18 and 15, and they beat West Carolina by 48 points. So at home, they haven't just been winning these games; they've been completely annihilated their opponents. So I think it's a bounce back spot here. Mississippi State is not a slouch, though. I'm not. We've talked a lot about Tennessee, and I don't want to totally say, because someone in the chat took Mississippi State on it +8. I don't hate the play, but you're back in a team that hasn't covered in 3 games. They beat, as you mentioned, in the Egg Bowl. They were laying 5.5 at home, and they won by 3 over Ole Miss. On the road at Auburn, they lost by 22, and at home against Kentucky, they lost by 5. Now that push, so I guess they're 1-1-1 in the closing number over the last 3 games. But they beat Vanderbilt by 12, the same Vanderbilt team that beat Tennessee. So you have a common opponent within the last month between these two teams. But I just think in terms of where Tennessee is defensively, if they had won their last game, I might like to take the dog. I might be on the dog side of this, but if I'm going to bet this game, it's favorite or nothing for me on this. I think this is either a blowout or you just stay away from this game on this, just given Tennessee's ability to kill teams. And frankly, how many points will the Bulldogs score tonight? KenPom has it at 65 points. Okay, that's a low total there for Mississippi State. And we know that Tennessee shoots better at home. So 75 points, somewhere in that range is where I'm taking Tennessee. So yeah. I'd lay it. If I was going to bet it, I'd be on Terrell's side, and I'd lay the points here with Tennessee at home against Mississippi State. Another game tonight that is interesting. I am on Texas and Missouri. I'm laying the 1.5.
Okay.
In Missouri on this. It's a 2-point win according to KenPom. This is more, I don't want to say it's like a feel play for me, but 7-4 Texas at home. Missouri is 3-1. Again, teams that come off of losses on the road in the conference and they come back home, they got killed by Florida in their last game. Lost by 24 points. They were embarrassed. Texas comes back. They've been playing better. Up to that point, they weren't playing as poorly as I think their numbers would indicate. They beat Oklahoma. That snapped a 3-game losing streak in which they lost to A&M, Auburn, and Tennessee, and they get killed by Florida. I don't know how good Missouri is. Okay, Missouri beat Kansas. So what? Everyone's beating Kansas. Creighton beat Kansas. Kansas is not Kansas. This is not like some big, by the end of the year, we're not going to look back on a Kansas win and be like, oh, wow, that's a big win. How do you feel about Texas? Speaking of Rick Barnes, the former Rick Barnes school. In Texas here at home, laying 1.5. I
think it's a good spot, especially with the road trip and adding that aspect to it as well. Like you're going from Missouri to Texas down here. So a little bit of travel here. I like the spot of getting Texas after a bounce back game, especially I like the angle of they went and played 2 back-to-back road games and now they're finally getting a home game. They haven't seen a home game here in what is this? Yeah, about 10 days. 10 days. It's been 10 days since the last time that they had a home game there, and that's when they had a narrow loss to guess who? Tennessee. So now I think I'm with you on the, hey, let's get up, let's play well in this home spot. We played well at home the last 2 times we were here. You got to think the last 2 times that we played at home, we played Auburn and we lost by 5, and we played Tennessee and we lost by 4. So you can see that they get up for these really good teams at home. What is Mizzou? I think there are a couple, if not a few notches down below of a Tennessee and an Auburn. I think this is a really good home spot where they can keep up and be able to go out and get a win. So I like it. I like the Texas side of things.
All right, those
I
are
have
2
to tell you with that.
Those are 2 plays that we like, that Terrell and I both like for today. We'll give you 2 more before we get out of here. A couple of games that we haven't have plays on, just get our takes on it and get your thoughts on it. Alabama against Vanderbilt. We talked about Tennessee and the win for Vanderbilt over Tennessee. Alabama's coming off of a loss in which at home against Ole Miss, I was on Ole Miss. I think they'd win the game, but they won by 10.
They had Kentucky after that.
No. That was on the road, right? The last home game was against Ole Miss, and they lost it at home. Then they went on the road, scored 102 points, won 102-97 over Kentucky. A 200-point game. My goodness gracious, that's in college basketball. That's insane. But what do you make of Vandy catching this many points? 11.5 for Vandy. They're 5-2 on the road this year, ATS.
Yeah, I mean, they've been good and they've been keeping this close. And I don't know why it's this big of a number. I know Alabama has sometimes shot the roof out the gym and been able to hit some incredible things and get going, and the offense has been amazing. But Vandy's been some upstart kids, I think, only because of Alabama's offense and the fact that I know that they can just turn it on really, really quickly and go on a 15-0 run just like that. I don't want to play this game, but if I did, I would definitely be on the Vandy side. I think it's too many points, and Vandy looks like they're just playing like that very, very annoying pest in the SEC that just wants to hang around with everybody. So I really do like this Vandy team.
Alabama is such an enigma to me because you figure if you look at a Bama coach team for Nate Oates, they've been so dominant on the 3-point line, and you have Sears who can obviously shoot the lights out, but they just are a different type of team this year because shooting the three, they're 230th in college basketball, shooting the three. I keep on waiting for Bama to get that percentage to shoot better and then start to like really kill people.
Destroy teams,
to kill people, but we haven't really seen it. I mean, they're fourth in efficiency. They're 48th in effective field goal percentage. They're second in 2-point percentage. They hit 60.8% of their 2-point shots. They just get to the rim. They're long, they're athletic, and defensively, they've been much better this year. They're 42nd in defensive efficiency. They're 31st in effective field goal percentage defensively, 21st in 3-point defense, and 54th in 2-point defense. They make you work on defense. And that's one reason why I think you got to be careful when it comes to fading Alabama. But Ole Miss showed that if you can score with them, you can beat them. And Ole Miss got more turnovers. They got more loose balls. And that's Vandy's game, just to go and outwork you and out hustle you. I think there's too many points. I'm not going to play it, but if I did, give me the 11.5 points. The only fear that I've got is that Alabama gets going offensively. They're 4-1 ATS and 7-3 ATS over their last 5 and 10 games. And boy, were they hot against Kentucky. I mean, 102 points in college basketball is 102 points. Like, hello. Texas is now up to -3. Is that true?
Yep.
Oh my. Okay. Sorry. That stinks. Okay. I laid 1.5 this morning. So that number has run a lot with Texas. So if shop around, maybe you can find a 2.5 or a 2 for Texas, but I laid 1.5 on that this morning for Texas with their game against Missouri coming up here for tonight. You guys watch this show, and Terrell's other show, Fast Break Bets. If you like betting basketball, which I'm assuming you do, you wouldn't be here otherwise. Terrell's got you each and every day on the weekdays. Daily dose of basketball betting picks. Tune in every weekday for your rapid fire fix and all things college, all things basketball. Check out Fast Break Bets, the podcast on BettingPros, the YouTube channel, or wherever you guys listen to your podcast. Terrell, what are you talking about tomorrow? I mean, this is an interesting time for the NBA because everyone's going to start betting NBA basketball again now that college football is over.
Yeah, well, I got to talk about my amazing win last night that I didn't think was going to win because I took the over on James Harden 9.5 assists at plus money, and he had 2 at half. Ooh. And so me being frustrated, I began recording, and I'm like, yeah, guys, this isn't going to hit. And sure enough, after I record, James Harden in the last hour, the last minute of the game, goes and gets 10 assists and gives us the over. So we just have fun doing stuff like that, being able to cash big bets, sweating stuff, and then also me having no faith in James Harden, who cashed out for us. So a textbook reverse jinx there.
All right, very good. Check that out coming up later on tonight for Fast Break Bets with Terrell here on the BettingPros YouTube channel. Another game that I think is really fascinating, Yukon, after losing to Creighton at home, snapping a over 700-day streak in which they hadn't lost a home game in like 3 years. Yukon losing to Greg McDermott in Creighton. Danny Hurley, I don't even know the backstory here, but famously told a Creighton student he was going to knock him out if he would come down out of the stands. So there's been a big rivalry between the Jays and Yukon for a while, and Coach McDermott's pretty much had Danny Mack's number, or Danny Hurley's number. So it's been fun as a guy who watches Creighton basketball a lot to watch the Jays go ahead and do this. But if you're Butler today, don't you have to kind of duck and cover because Yukon may really be looking to put one on someone?
You better hope that you called everybody that could help you. You better hope you called the whole neighborhood because that boy is mad. Mad. And you know what? I think he's going to take it out on the rest of the Big East because guess what? He still has to play Marquette twice, and he's dominated Marquette over the... Matt, I think we should place a bet on UConn to win the regular season at 7-1.
Big East title.
Big East.
All right, not bad.
Win regular season Big East title at 7-1. Still has 2 meetings against St. John's. Still have 2 meetings against Marquette. And as much as I'm a Shaka guy, and I know I am really a Shaka guy, he has not been able to get it done against UConn in the past. I think that St. John's and Marquette only being a game above, laying that short of they're like plus 130.
So let's run this. Okay. So here are the road games for UConn that are left in Big East play in the regular season. They got to go to Xavier, Marquette, Creighton, Seton Hall, St. John's, and Providence. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 road games left in Big East play. What do they go? What's their record?
Maybe they stumble
Twice?
somewhere. Yeah, maybe
So
twice.
four
But
so
twice is if we lose. If they only stumble once, there's a chance that they're in this.
yeah, I mean, they could run I mean, my point is that they're probably not gonna lose another home game. I mean,
Yeah, I can't imagine
did they lose
another one.
one or two a year max? So if currently at 5-2, if they lose two more games at home, they're going to wind up with 4 losses in Big East play. That probably is good enough. That probably gets it
The
done.
Big East is so competitive. Like 7-1 for you to only be a game back
Well, it's
this
because
late.
Marquette is 6-1. That's why, and they just lost to Xavier at home, which was somewhat of a stunning loss for them to lose at home to Xavier. Their road games are Seton Hall, Butler, St. John's, Creighton, Villanova, ouch, Georgetown, and Connecticut. So, I mean, man, how it's going to come down to 3 or 4. That's what it's going to come down
Yeah.
to. Whoever loses 3 will win the Big East, and it could be UConn. I mean, it could absolutely be. It could be UConn. UConn's got to get healthy. I mean, they got to get their full complement of players back for them to be able to make a run like this. But I don't mind that 7-1. That's what they are to win the Big East.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all. That's what's Marquette 5-1, 4-1.
Plus, no, Marquette's like plus 130.
Oh wow. Okay.
I am a Shaka smart guy.
So they have a
plus
3-game
130 is
lead.
insane.
They have a 3-game lead, but they play UConn head to head twice.
Yeah,
So
plus 120. They're plus 120 and St. John's is plus 130. And then here's UConn at 7-1.
Wow, that's a lot of value. That's a good play.
What?
I agree with you.
Yes.
That's a good play. I like that a
Yeah.
lot. That's a good play. There's value on that because they play Marquette twice. Now, I guess you could say that they beat Marquette twice. That takes out Marquette potentially, and St. John's wins it. But
but literally all those teams play each other twice for the rest of the season. So I think if everybody goes 1-1, then okay, it probably stays the same. But if UConn steals one, they're in the driver's seat at 7-1.
So St. John's at 7-1. Their road games are Georgetown, Connecticut.
St. John's is plus 130.
Wow. They have road games at Georgetown, Connecticut, Villanova, DePaul, Butler, and Marquette. They're going to lose at least 2 more basketball games.
Yeah.
They're losing 2 more. With that schedule, they're losing 2 more basketball games.
I think they lose on the road. I think they lose on the road at Marquette and at UConn.
Yeah, and that's what KenPom has. KenPom has both those games as losses for them. So they would have 3 losses.
That's the wild. If you place 130, plus 130 on St. John's right now with their history in the Big East, good luck to you.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Good luck to you.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's too much of a gamble because you can see them stumbling pretty easily. Like, I mean, Creighton has had good success against St. John's on the road this year, playing in New York. So I could see them potentially. I could see Connecticut, going in there and beating St. John's. I can see 3 losses or 4 losses for St. John's the rest of the way. That's possible. From a value play perspective, I like what you have. I like that 750 on UConn to win the Big East regular season. That's a good play. I like that a lot. And then for today, I think I'm with you too. Lay the points here. I think Connecticut is going to get after it here. Butler's going to be unfortunately taken behind the woodshed on this. Let's get to the second game that I like here for today, and Arizona State against West Virginia. This number has risen up to 9. West Virginia is coming off of a monster, and I mean a monster win over Iowa State. It was an incredible atmosphere for West Virginia. It was Jerry West Day. They gave out commemorative everything. Everyone was jacked up. Iowa State walked into a complete and total beehive, and they got beat by a really good West Virginia team. But here's the thing. 7-3 ATS on the road for Arizona State. This is too heavy, Terrell. This is too many points. I think West Virginia wins this game, but give me the points in Arizona State here. They've lost 4 games in a row. They've lost 5 of 6. They're absolutely desperate, but they keep games close. I know Morgantown's a tough place to play, but give me the +9. I'm taking the dog here. Where are you on West Virginia hosting Arizona State?
And it's coaching your team up. We're here. We're in this conference now. We got to make this far road trip. Let's put a little bit more emphasis into preparation and getting everything ready to go on the road. And you just have this West Virginia team that's on top of the world. on top of the world right now. Oh, it all comes crashing down. This is the letdown spots of all letdown spots. And you're in front of your home crowd, and you think that you really think you're untouchable here.
Right.
9 points. Yeah, they let them hang around. Arizona State probably has a little bit of a lead in this game, and then West Virginia has to battle back and sit there and say, whoo, we got out of that one close, but we can't let that happen again. So, yeah, I'm with you. That's way too many points for this Arizona State team.
Losses by 7 to Cincinnati, 6 to Central Florida, and 6 against Baylor. They're losing games, but they're keeping these games close. They're 11-6 against the number, Arizona State. So, kind of like the football program, they keep games close. And so I think they'll be close, but this is a letdown game. After beating the number 2 team in the country, you walk around. Look, Darren DeVries, I've been covering D-Rock for a very long time. I know his family back to Iowa. He was on Dana Altman's staff at Creighton University when I first moved there in 2004. So I'm going on 20 years knowing Darren DeVries. He is the national coach of the year right now. I guess I didn't know this. Did you know they give out a mid-season coach of the year award?
Wait, like
they do.
Wait, so is it called the mid-season coach of the year award?
So on my other show on BVB, we had on the color commentator for West Virginia, and he told us that Darren DeVries had just won the mid-season coach of the year award. And I said, what the hell is that?
Do you name it after somebody? Like, is somebody named? Do they name that award after somebody?
Think so, yeah.
Like the mid-season. How do you name the mid-season award?
I have no idea. But
who is the best first half season coach, and we name the award after them? Is that what we do?
They fell apart. He has wins over Gonzaga, Arizona, Kansas, and Iowa State. 3 of those 4 teams, when he played them, they were ranked in the top 10 of the country. He's got 3 top 10 wins. He's got 2 top 5 wins right now on his resume. So this has been an entirely new roster. There wasn't one player on campus last year that's on the roster right now that was on campus last year for West Virginia. So what he's done with this roster has been tremendous. Mm-hmm. I just think this is one of those, like, you walked around campus thinking you were all big time and you're going.
You get up for the big games, but when you get somebody of lesser competition come around, it's not that exciting. It's not as exciting.
It's named after Jim Phelan? Really?
No way.
The Jim Phelan. Okay. So the Jim Phelan.
Don't name any mid-season award after me, please. I promise.
Right?
You I'm okay. I promise you I'm okay.
Hey, you're a mid-season type of guy.
Yeah. No, please don't name any mid-season award after me.
That's tremendous. A mid-season. Yeah. So congratulations. I don't know if you'd like to
shout out to the Jim Phelan Award winner.
Right?
Yeah, I can't wait to say that.
you display that? My God. That's
no, that's like the ultimate participation trophy. Like, no way you display the mid-season. And then what if the end of the season was horrible? What if you didn't win the whole coach? Like, what if you fell apart after that?
In February, I was great.
Oh,
and then,
no,
your record
there's
sucks.
no way. There's no way that one gets hung up. That's in the back of the garage, just sitting in a brown box. No way.
That's tremendous. All right, let's get to your other play that you like. Marquette and Seton Hall. This number is rising. It's 12.5 now. Marquette's on the road. Newark, New Jersey, 138.5 for this number. Who do you like in this game?
Oh, it's so nasty, man. It's so bad because this Seton Hall team sucks. They really do. But it's a system play. It's a system play. I told you I am a Shaka Smart guy, and that's my guy. I'm going to ride for Shaka Smart if I'm going to ride for anybody else.
Okay.
But pause. But I will say is that he can't cover as a double-digit favorite. He just doesn't do it. It's not his thing. 3-6 ATS as a double-digit favorite this season. 0-5 ATS in the Big East as a double-digit favorite. First of all, why are you favored so many times as double digits in your own conference, and then you haven't covered any of the numbers? He wins the game, and that's why I like him. That's why I appreciate him, because he wins the game. He's a very good motivator of men, especially when they're underdogs, but when they're heavy favorites, it takes for the other team just to hang around too much, and then he'd be like, all right, guys, let's stop playing with him, and he eventually takes over and wins the game. But oh man, I can't do it. So I've been fading him as a double-digit favorite. I'm going to continue to do it again, even though I have to take this stinky Seton Hall team. But I'm going to keep doing it because it's been profitable.
So to your point, Xavier -10 didn't cover. DePaul -13 didn't cover. Georgetown -13.5 didn't cover. Creighton -10 didn't cover. Butler -14 didn't cover. That's the last 5 times this team's been favored by double digits this year. Zero.
Yep.
0 times they have covered since. They've won the games, like you mentioned. They've won. Only game they lost was the last game out when they lost to Xavier. They won every game I just mentioned, but they did not cover. So they tend to play with their food a little bit here, and they don't put anybody away. You're right about Seton Hall, but they have covered in 3 of their last 4 games. They got killed by St. John's on the road by 28 points in their last game. At home against St. John's, they got killed by 28 in their last game. But the 3 games before that, catching 6 against Butler, lost by 5, catching 7 against Providence, lost by 6, and against DePaul, they won by 5, laying 2.5 points. So, sandwiched in between 2 blowout losses, one to Xavier, one to St. John's. So, let's see how they figure out tonight, but I'm with you on that. I mean, look, crazy stat. Seton Hall beat DePaul by more points than Marquette did. They both won, but they beat more. That's yeah.
Oh, okay. I love Big East basketball. Big East basketball is amazing. And then awesome. You know what? Wait till the conference tournament. I promise you, as bad as the Seton Hall team is, they're going to win a game.
Well, it's because of where it is too. At MSG, when you have, I mean, there's Seton Hall fans. It's like it's really
they're going to win a game.
Modern college basketball. The Creighton Blue Jays are in Omaha, Nebraska. They fly 4 hours across the country to go to a college basketball tournament. They used to drive 2.5 hours to St. Louis or 3.5 hours to St. Louis, like I used to do to go to Arch Madness in the Valley tournament. So it's hard to get there, and they're not alone. Like Marquette and Butler and all these Midwest schools having to go to MSG. It's a drive. It's a train ride.
Man, it psychologically, New York City is a lot for some farm boys.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Come on.
Although it's funny because Omaha is more metropolitan people think, but yes, I get your point. All right.
Well, not the Omaha aspect, but yeah.
Speaking of Creighton, they have DePaul tonight. The Jays just beat Yukon. How do we not take the dog here? How do we not have the same logic of a major letdown? If we think Yukon's going to destroy because they lost, how does DePaul not keep this game close tonight? They're 6-point dogs.
I will at least say DePaul's been better than DePaul years past. I can actually bet this DePaul team and not feel disgusting about myself. In other years, there's the dog days of DePaul where they're getting run out the gym by 20-25 every single night against every single opponent. Yeah. This is not that DePaul team. This DePaul team plays a lot better. They're a lot more sound defensively. It looks like they're finally making a step up in that program. And of course, they would love to get some get back at a Creighton squad that has really, really put it on them in years past. And so, yeah, I think this is a good spot for DePaul. I think DePaul is going to get up for this one. I think this is their opportunity. They say, hey, they're riding high. They feel like they have a good win. They feel like this is the best DePaul team in plenty of years. Right. I think they're getting up for every single Big East game. Well, that's the team that I'm scared of. DePaul in the Big East is a team that I'm scared of just because they finally have hope. Like like it's been the dog days of DePaul basketball, and now they finally have something to hope about. That's scary.
5-point win for Creighton tonight, according to KenPom. The Jays on the road this year, ATS-wise, 4-3-1. DePaul is 8-5 ATS. They won their last game outright on the road at Georgetown, the same Georgetown team that beat the Jays by 28.5 points. Or by 24 points. Sorry, they covered by 28.5, beat them by 24. And they lost to Marquette by 2. Again, Marquette being big favorites. They were laying 13, and Marquette won the game by 2. So DePaul has played well in their last 2 games. The Jays have covered 4 in a row in 5 of their last 6, including that huge win over Yukon on the road. They beat Providence by 20. They're playing better, and it's not an official play for me, but man, I think this is a Jays win by 4 or 5. I don't know if they go and win by win by 6 or 7. By more than 2 possessions, I don't think so. I know Kalkbrenner played incredibly well against UConn and held the same type of advantage he has here. We're getting close to February where he really starts to take over because of how good he is. But I don't know. That's a lot of points for the Jays to lay this on 6.5.
I was supposed to add in this to the card. The 8-1-1 in the last 10 for Creighton in the last 10. How well they've been playing recently, especially against spread. Only reason why I didn't play it, but same angle. They could really, really drop this game because that was a huge win against you.
And they're also 5-1-1 in Big East play, by the way. So that's another reason you got to be careful with DePaul.
By the way, also 7-1 to win the regular season title. Creighton.
Don't like it.
Not as much as UConn. Not as much as UConn.
And I'm a Creighton guy. I mean, there's a Creighton poster sitting on my wall, so I'm a Creighton guy. So like but I can tell you that I'm very concerned about the inconsistent guard play for the Jays. It's just one of those, like, if they had Pop Isaacs, he didn't get hurt his hip. That's how they beat Kansas when him going off for 25 points. They had him, different season, but the Jays losing him was They spent a lot of money in the NIL world to pull him away from Texas Tech, and not great. All right, before we wrap, Terrell, your plays again. What are we going with tonight?
All right, we've got my plays. Tennessee, Rick Barnes. This regular season, Rick, Matt. We got to keep going with them. I'm laying it. It's at 8.5 now. I'm still laying 8.5 with Tennessee here. And then, stinky Seton Hall made the card.
You get more points with Seton Hall.
Yeah, 12.5 now. So more points with Seton Hall. It's stinky. But hey, if you keep betting Shaka as a double-digit favorite, you're gonna lose money. So we're gonna take Seton Hall here. Also, didn't mention it, but I do like North Carolina. I think they have a pretty big get-up spot here on the road playing against Wake Forest. I think that the North Carolina faithful, they hold a very, very good fan base in the state. They're going to show out for this game. North Carolina gets the win on the road.
Very cool. Before we recap my plays, guys, reminder that the Daily Juice podcast will hit you each and every morning. If you haven't watched the podcast, we cover everything. We do college basketball, we do hockey, we do football, baseball, everything, combat sports, boxing, MMA, everything. It's in your inbox every single morning. You can either subscribe to the BettingPros YouTube channel and alert yourself when the video drops. Overnight, mostly 10 p.m., 11 p.m. Pacific time. That's 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. So you get up, you can watch it, or you can listen to it wherever you guys get your audio podcasts across every audio platform. Subscribe to the Daily Juice podcast wherever you guys get your podcasts. My plays, they've both moved a little bit. Arizona State +9 on the road at West Virginia. I think it's a letdown spot for West Virginia after their gigantic win over I think best team in the country in Iowa State, and it's a huge win for them. They did it on Jerry West Day, so a lot of a letdown spot. Emotions went into that last win. I'll take Arizona State to keep it close at +9, and this number is up to 3. I wouldn't play it over one possession, but I do think Texas is going to win tonight against Missouri. I like them to come back home and get a much-needed, hard-fought W here tonight for that. Guys, every Tuesday, right here, college basketball, as we take you to the march to San Antonio for the Final Four. We've got you with picks and plays and thoughts every Tuesday, 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific time. He's Terrell Furman. I'm Matt Perrault. Make sure we see you guys next week. Same place, same time for College Basketball Live here on the BettingPros YouTube channel.